Welcome to Our Village Podcast. This is something that I'm really excited to share with you guys. I've been working on it for quite some time. So the first two guests that we're going to be having onto the show is going to be Fortune Igiebor and his mom, Irene. And they are both inspirational people. Fortune is a musician and an activist, and Irene is just an overall people's person. You can learn more about them on our website, Our Village Archive, which will be linked as well. But I am really excited to have you guys here. The first season is commissioned by Project Art Center. So we just want to say a massive thank you to Project Art Center for this opportunity. We're currently in the Cube in the Project Art Center space. And yeah, I hope you guys stay tuned for the whole episode because there's so many gems that are going to be shared and there's so much that we're going to talk about when it comes to community. So hi guys, this is our very first episode of Our Village Podcast. And I'm here with Fortune Igiebor and also Irene, who is his mom, and I'm very excited to have you both on the podcast today. We're going to get straight into it. So how are you guys doing today?
Great.
You look
Wonderful.
good.
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Happy
look
to
good.
be here.
Good. Thank you for coming on. And what about you, Fortune?
I'm nice, it was an exciting morning getting ready to do this with us. So we're in good spirits, yeah.
Good. Is this your first interview with your mom?
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's the second time
What was the
because
first one?
we did interview at home.
Oh, that doesn't really
yes.
count.
Oh no,
though, 'cause
it
that didn't even
counts
go
though.
in.
It
Yeah,
counts.
no, I
It
know,
counts.
I
It
know.
counts. Wait, what was the interview at home?
But for a different documentary that we were working on 5 years ago now.
Which is amazing. 5 years in, and you're still doing obviously what you love.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
really
been nice.
exciting.
Yeah.
And what about you, mom? How are you feeling? Are you feeling comfortable?
Very comfortable and happy to be here.
Good,
Thank you.
good. Yeah, you can tell that you're very proud of him. I love how you look at him as well. It's just that's my son right there. Do you know? Yeah. So my first question is going to be to you, Fortune, and mom, you can also chime into this as well. So in terms of you knowing what you wanted to do, I feel I have a eureka moment where I remember that this is what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being younger, and my dad was he used to travel a lot, and he used to collect DVDs of Destiny's Child and all of this because he used to love concerts. I remember me and my siblings, Destiny's Child, we used to perform the routine
Back to front.
Yeah. It was like this for me.
Clockwork.
So I just remember standing there and be like, oh my God, do I want to be Beyonce? Is that my dream? Do you know what I mean? So I remember that being a specific moment for myself, being okay, this is what I would love to do music, or I would love to do art or stuff like that. For you, do you remember having a moment that defines you wanting to do what you want to do?
Yeah, I think there were I can't think of a specific one, but there were little moments that I just think were my mom and dad did a really good job at fueling the fire in me with the creative stuff.
That's
so
amazing.
even the same way you and your siblings would have done the Destiny's Child choreography or something along the lines, right? We always it was everybody in my house, from my mom to my sister to my dad, they saw whatever it was in me that had that appreciation for the creative stuff, whether it be film, whether it be music or anything. And they just always, it felt like they always kind of went with it for my sake, even if it was I say to my sister in the evening, I want to do a talent show. My and dad, she'd be okay, cool, let's go do this.
Okay.
If I told Ma I wanted to make a movie, then she'd get a little small camera and do this. And then when I told them that I wanted to do music and they saw that there was something that was actually of substance behind it, that's when they were able to back it and support it. So I think I had the knowledge that I wanted to do something to do with music and film for a while, but that is its own thing. And then I think I would put a lot of credit to the fact that I was given the space to try these things out growing up. I think
definitely want
that
to
makes the whole
circle back
difference.
to that 100% because obviously you know what that's like within the Black community and creative and choosing creativity as a path.
Mm-hmm.
So mom, I want to ask you, so when did you see it in Fortune that, okay, he's going to do something that's quite public, or music and film? When did you see it in him?
I think he was around between 3 and 4 years.
Wow.
So we used to play this Nigerian music in the house.
Yeah.
So he used to dance to it.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, we used to buy him toys that were also very creative.
Yeah.
He will have we call it boombox.
Yeah.
So he will use that. Then we had all these video cameras in the house. So he was using it to take a video around the house, and he'll run around. I remember at some stage he cut a card box. So he was starting to film, and then he him and his sister, he'll be go, and cut.
You know, the clapper
Pop,
part that
yeah,
they use
exactly.
on the movies.
Oh, you took your job seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he was he was around 4 years.
Wow.
So when he turned 5, I think somebody got him a guitar as a present. So
it was the boombox that was in the living room. Dad put it in our room when we moved to Waterville.
Okay.
And then Uncle gave me the Michael Jackson CD. I got the guitar much later.
Yeah.
I remember the Michael Jackson CD was the one that I would play back to forth over and over.
Yeah. So it was kind of like looking at him. We knew he was going to be different from the way he presented himself, how he speak, and how he act. We always say he was a mischievous child. So by being mischievous, what are you doing with it as a parent? Do you look at it as a talent? Do you look at it, oh, my child need additional needs? No, we didn't look at it that way. We thought, okay, he has a gift that we need to nurture it. So from there, he was playing football. Then every Sunday he was playing football. Then on Saturday, so I'll take him to acting classes.
Okay.
So it was quite a combination of football, acting classes, and then swimming during the week. So we were kind of integrating all that. Yeah.
Which is like, again, like super amazing. Before I go back to asking you what you think your mom wants to be when she grows up,
right?
I just want to, like, were you born in Ireland?
Waterford,
You were born in Waterford.
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting because I feel like our families, our family also was in Waterford. You guys were in Waterville as well, I think. And now you guys are in Clontillo, and we're This is meant to be.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So you were born here, so it was one of those things that, like, everything that you kind of learned has been from here. And do you, like, believe that obviously with your mom, the influence of that and being where you're from has obviously impacted that as well?
Definitely. Okay. Like I think I won't say that I wouldn't have done music if I was in Nigeria, South Africa. I think I still would have found my way there. I think I would have been a different artist. I don't think I would have been Mr. Rage.
Yeah.
I think I think the only thing that really would have been different was just like the story building up who I end up being in the music industry who really changed it. Because when you're living in Dublin, coexisting under the umbrella Black and Irish, I think it puts you in a scenario where there's different hurdles and trials and tribulations to what it would be in Nigeria or South Africa. There are two different types of difficult, and they're both difficult in their own right, but we got this one instead, you know?
Exactly.
And I wouldn't, it's like, it's happening how it's meant to, you know?
Okay. I'm going to come back to that again. But I want to ask you, what did you think your mom wants to be when she grows up?
That's a good.
Because she's just a girl, like
man. I think something to do with architecture on the sly. Ooh. Like when I look at the YouTube videos that she does be watching on her account, they're all like, do you know when they're like organizing these closets and these wardrobes and these house plans and everything? I think she could design some cold rooms, some nice houses.
Cool. Okay.
That's what I'd imagine. That was like close, like.
So we're gonna ask mom now, I guess. Yeah.
You
so
heard
what do you want to
the
be?
no in it.
No. You're not close because I like human interaction.
Yeah, but I guess
so. I belong to people.
Okay, yeah.
I don't belong to any other things.
Yeah.
That's why all my jobs from when I was in South Africa till here, I work direct with people.
Yeah.
I connect with people. I understand human, how they think, how they work, and how to change their mind into a positive thing.
Yeah.
So I always channel my energy towards that.
Okay. And is that something that you feel like you've had since when you were young, or is that something that your parents would have also kind of instilled in you as well?
My mom, she was a people's person, so she was loved. She loved people. She gave a lot to a community. And I think that has kind of shaped me who I am.
Yeah.
And I see the benefit in it because the benefit in it, it's not visible.
Yeah.
But it's quite fulfilling.
Yeah. And do you feel like, again, with the fact that you had your mom who was like that, and obviously community is so important. And being in Ireland, it's quite different because, it's again, I remember Waterville. I don't even remember any other black kind of people being around there. I also
Very segregated.
grew up
Yeah.
in Castleknock as well, so I don't really remember.
Sure,
Community for me
even
was
if like
church.
when we were living in Waterville, I'm pretty sure we were the black kids that lived in Waterville.
Waterville.
We were together.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
at
I
that
don't
point,
remember
yeah.
kind of like any other person.
Yeah.
And then also I grew up in Castleknock as well, like, and we were the only kind of black people. So church was the only form of like community for us.
Right, yeah.
But for you now, since community is such like a big part of like you growing up, and it's something that you see yourself like doing continuously, do you feel like that's something that you have found in Ireland as well? Have you found community? Have you found a place that you feel like I can like have input in this, or I can make a change? Do you feel the same in Ireland?
Oh yes, definitely. I have worked with different groups within the community, and it wasn't challenging because obviously I'm from a different background.
Yeah.
But when you see people, you don't see color.
Yeah.
It kind of drive you to go forward,
Yeah.
because you're not looking at anyone.
Yeah.
You're looking at people that you want to support,
Yeah.
who wants to support you as well. So that was kind of a drive
Yeah.
for me.
For you.
And it still is.
Yeah.
There is other thing that could stop me, but my energy is being channeled to a positive side.
Yeah.
There is negative things, but I don't look at it, because the minute I move my energy from positive,
Yeah.
I will lose my track.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I can very much see that. Like, it's something that you just have to like have a very striving mindset, especially being in here, and especially obviously not having community that's like maybe as familiar as to what you know had growing up. One interesting topic that you brought up, Fortune, was the fact that you had like growing up, you had again all the support in terms of you being an artist, like again from the boombox, or like the fact that your mom saw the fact that you were a really active child and put a lot of drive behind that by introducing all of these things to you.
Yeah.
So my question to you is like, again, you've kind of tipped on it a bit. If you were back home, do you think that your story or the thing that you're called for, do you think that that's going to be something that would have been the same, or do you think it would have been different?
I think Ireland has a lot to do with the identity I have in music for the right reasons, because I feel like the way Ireland is seen in the grand scheme of the music industry is how I was seen in the music industry here, in the sense of I'm in Dublin. I've met majority of the musicians. I know better than any American, any other nation in Europe, that we have so much talent here.
Yeah.
And I'm in my mind every day. I've known this about myself for the same amount of time. And I think there's a mirroring effect between those two things, where as a community at Dublin, we're trying to prove a point in the fact that we are worthwhile being here, and we are worth being one of the pinnacles of music, of film, of art, of anything. And I found myself telling that same story through myself, because the support was at home in the house, but it wouldn't have been in Blanchardstown. You know?
Exactly.
So that's a different conversation.
And that's a powerful thing. That is
no, absolutely. There was
thing.
power in it for sure. And I think the story at hand at the moment is like, as I said, the same way Dublin's trying to prove itself to the world, or has been, I was trying to prove myself to Dublin and to Ireland for that amount of time. Whereas I think if I was in Nigeria or South Africa, it would have been a by any means necessary type of thing.
Exactly.
Because there's such a wider chance of opportunity. I would have pretended to be 10 different people who weren't me if it meant just becoming somebody in music. Whereas I feel like the fact that I was born in Waterford, then we came to Dublin, and even just in the last 2 years, that's only the real stage of us coming into a real strong industry in music. I think it's one of those things where it was important for me to remember how that mirroring effect plays back and forth, and to remember, even though if I was back home and it would and it might be easier, the story
dream is still there. Like that's like your sole purpose is still there. One point again that we've kind of bounced around a bit was, Mom, the support that you gave at home, especially for the arts, is so, like, I want to have this conversation with you, because I feel like in a lot of Black families, and this is also from my own personal experience, obviously, like, my mom, an immigrant mom, coming to Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
me wanting to study arts or me wanting to do music.
Mm-hmm.
Am I joking? Like,
Yeah,
am I
having
serious?
a
It was
laugh,
literally,
like,
this
yeah.
whole idea of like doctor, lawyer, or failure. Like, do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, it's just one of those things that it took such a long time for me to accept the fact that like art is something I will forever dedicate my life to. Do you know what I mean? And something that I have a really deep passion for. But it took a lot of time for me to get to this place because I didn't see value in that. But
Right.
I think it's such an interesting story that you guys have, that you really nurtured that. And I don't think a lot of people like have that experience. I just want to hear like what inspired you to like nurture that in him, and like how is it being an artist, like a mom to an artist? Because I feel like
Cry my eyes out every time she wouldn't support.
the stress, the stress.
Yeah.
No, any artist mom, I'm just like, God bless
It
you,
is a good
because
question,
it's
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
work, do you know? And
It's-
also being like a black mom in
Yeah.
Ireland, like where it is, we don't have many examples of like artists who have made it already. So it's not like you had like, oh, my son can be like this. It was just like, you really have
You
to
guys
like
trust
risk
us,
it,
yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's quite challenging, but you have, as a parent, you have to be in a set mind. Like when I grow up, I wanted to be an actor in South Africa. I went to school for acting,
Yeah.
but because of the environment I was quite restrained.
Okay.
So my mom was that person that, okay, you go to school, do education first, then you can do that as your hobby.
Okay. Yeah.
And I look at it, I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm from a single parents family.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I say, okay, if she goes now, what will I have?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have anything. Will I
Yeah.
stand a chance to survive? And I said, no. I said, okay, I'm going to put that to bed. But I hope someday I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
So I
Oh, we're
went.
seeing you on the screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see
So
you on the screen.
I went straight to college 4 years for teaching
Okay, amazing. Yeah.
in South Africa. And then I finished, I was working.
Yeah.
I put that aside.
I was
Okay.
a primary school teaching
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
primary school. But I was still instilling that into the kids I was teaching.
I love that. Yeah.
So it was,
You still got to carry on your work.
I still have to carry on, but piece of me was left behind,
Yeah.
and that was that part.
Yeah.
But going forward, I was like, okay, now I need to focus. This is a job that brings the money,
Yeah.
but I will live my dream,
Yeah.
maybe in the future. Fine. Move to Ireland, had Fortune.
Yeah.
Then I look at him when he was that 4 years, I said, now this is it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's somebody
Yeah.
that I'm going to live the life I wanted to live in him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it isn't based on survival anymore. It's actually
No.
based on like the fact
Yeah.
that this is what you're called to be.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't force it
beautiful.
into him, but it came naturally to him.
Yeah.
We share so many characteristics.
Yeah.
So that's why most of the time when we have to argue,
Yeah.
I have to walk away
Because
Yeah.
you're arguing to yourself.
because it's like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to nurture his career. Number one, he was in Blanchardstown IT.
Yeah.
And when he was supposed to go for third year, he came and said, Mom, I don't think this is for
I'm
me.
not going back to that place.
Wow.
man.
And what were you
Yeah.
studying?
Digital marketing.
Digital
Oh.
marketing.
That was one time where I really, really, really tested your patience for me.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
and said, Mom, I don't think I want to do this. And
Yeah.
I look at him, I say, but I told you this is not you. Before he
Oh.
went to that line, I told him straight away, I said, that is not you. You belong to the entertainment.
Oh, really? Did
Yes.
You,
But there was at the time the likes of, I didn't know BIM existed.
oh,
But
okay.
do you
Fair.
remember-
Mind you, like Blanchardstown weren't making these things very
Yeah,
available to
at
us. And
all.
like if you remember,
We only
See-
had do you remember Feroga?
yes.
That's
see,
literally-
that's where I recorded my first like
Yeah,
demo.
that's literally my
demo.
introduction to music
But-
was Feroga.
How
I-
old were you when you went to Feroga?
Going 13.
You went
first year.
No.
First year. Because it was
Wait.
after the talent show.
Oh, okay.
Remember, it was after the talent show, and you guys didn't want me going to Ferrega and coming back when it was getting dark early.
Yeah.
And then that's when you guys got the Mac OS and the mic, so I could do that stuff at home and I could
Yeah.
learn. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have to spend a lot of money
Yeah.
to go and buy the mic for him.
Oh, they cared about you.
So we set
Yeah.
him up in the house.
Wow.
Another thing, it was the people that he was doing music with
Yeah.
them, they were older. So
Yeah.
there was that language in
Yeah.
his songs. And that kind of like,
You're not,
I love this idea, but I don't like the language.
Yeah.
He was a bit young
The
for that.
influence, I guess.
Yeah. So we kind of try and pull him out. Then he started to do his thing in the house.
Yeah.
And because he got that from Feroga, I had to go and volunteer
Okay.
with the youth club to help other kids because I have seen what it has done for him.
Wow.
So I volunteer with Feroga. I was working with the youth as well.
Feroga was actually something that was so impactful.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Like it was such a game changer for so many people. Like when I think about
It still is.
it's exactly. Like it's like my experience or my introduction to art as well. I remember the first time I sang as well. It was literally Feroga. You know, you'd go in, they had like all the Macs, and then they'll teach you how to use it, and like, and I remember so many Black kids being in those spaces because there was like no other, like, again, your parents weren't taking you to Irish dancing or whatever it was. It was like this was the place that a lot of kids could go to because again it was free, and you had the support there. So like it helped so many like musicians or artists have that like point back to Feroga, which I think is like
It's
really,
beautiful.
it's so beautiful. Like
It's
every
beautiful.
person I've kind of talked to is like, I remember going to Blanche Village or Ongar and like,
So reliable.
and then you decided, like, you volunteered as well.
Yeah, I did volunteer.
Because you
work
like
for-
saw the impact that it was having.
Yeah, it really worked for him. So
Wow.
and I did volunteer with the youth club back home in South Africa. So I had an idea what is going on.
Yeah.
My goal, it was if we can take 2 or 3 kids off street and bring them to the youth club. That day when we meet, let's create this environment where they are comfortable, where they can open up about themselves, where they can express who they are, where they can identify the sense of identity and sense of belonging.
Wow,
That was my goal.
Yeah, that is, that is so impactful. Like,
our community is really lucky to have my mom, to be honest. Like seeing, we have this running joke in our family that before I started doing music, she was the famous one because between Feroga,
for sure.
you know, between Feroga and the creche work and a couple of things that I couldn't probably even name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Every time you go to the Blanche shopping center with her, it's like a meet and greet. She's being stopped
Everybody's
by
like, "Hi,"
every 2 minutes. And of course, like in the moment, it'd be a bit jarring, but it's really, really beautiful to see how many people would stop in the middle of the, like, you understand
impact,
the concept of sound, their busyness, everybody living their own life. To the way people have stopped to speak about her and to her, and the way they check in after not seeing for years. Like, you can tell this is somebody who leaves an impact in people's lives. And the fact that even after seeing what Feroga did for me, she took it like a step further and then started doing that for other children. That's
I think that's powerful.
It reminds me of in first year, it was myself and 2 other kids in my year who went to Feroga the first time I was recording. They were kind of coming on Fortune's supposedly supposed to record his first song. Let's go there. Just give him some support.
And how old were you?
12 going 13 in first year. And it was, I had a friend who came with me and he went 1 or 2 times, but after, it was like he came to Feroga less, started being outside more, and then the dangers started finding their way towards him. And the difference between my life and how his life ended up are night and day. Yeah. And it really
there's so many stories like that. But I think, again, the support from home is like,
that's what I mean.
It's the support from home.
And then the fact that, because I think you know yourself, like when you say that type of support system, especially with something creative, isn't something that's known or familiar in our families and our family dynamics. It's very, very easy to be able to see that she would be like the mother of all of my musician friends to an extent, like not to a point where she's looking after everybody to that extent, but when there is that support and they need to be vulnerable about being an artist in that way, they know they can go to her for that understanding.
I literally was on a call with her for like 10 minutes yesterday to be like, just checking in. She was like, proud of you. I was like, whoa, like, you know, that immediate, like, I recognize what you're doing. I know that it's hard, but like, keep pushing because it's going to make sense. And I feel like, again, it's so hard to get that from a parent who hasn't seen or hasn't experienced the arts or hasn't been in a position where they can. We don't see examples. Like, it's just basically I think
you guys, you're going to be the examples.
Exactly.
You are going to be the examples because now you have this opportunity. You have the platform. You have all this knowledge that you have acquired along the road. So what you need to do is, okay, I have all this. I'm well equipped. What do I do with it? How do I move forward with it? Also, networking, it's so important. Networking, you network with the right people.
Yeah.
It's so important because you can mix with wrong people. They will take you out of the right track and put you in the wrong one.
Yeah.
And also, how do you see others around you?
Yeah.
Respect is the
Yeah.
most important thing.
100%.
Acknowledge other people, what they do. It's really the key,
Yeah.
you know.
I think the power in you trusting something that you haven't seen here before is like, it's what's making that. I think for me is what actually has made like such a massive difference, because I feel like a lot of our parents, they just don't see it. Like it's just not, you can't see it.
Parents, you know, I'm not gonna speak for all parents,
Yeah.
but as parents, if we were looking at the world different to the way we were raised, I don't raise him to be educated. I raise him to be smart.
Her.
That is my key.
Yeah.
I want him to. You can be educated and not smart.
Literally.
You know, I raise him to be smart. You know
Yeah.
why? Because I want him to look at the world differently the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to push the boundaries. And to teach him to be resilient. Because the environment we are in, it's not an easy one. So if you're not resilient enough, you're not going to push.
Yeah.
So if you're that strong, you're being given the tools.
Yeah.
And if you know who you are, your identity,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like we have the Black Irish today.
Yeah.
Who are they? It's
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
It's not us.
Yeah.
That's why we give you the platform to keep pushing. Like I'm on him every time, 24/7. It's 1:00. Where are you?
Yeah.
Mom, I'm in the bus. I'm on my way home.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's 3:00. I didn't see him. I was like,
Where
listen,
are you? Yeah.
where are you?
Yeah.
As much as I'm giving him the platform to push forward,
It's guided.
I'm walking with
Yeah,
him.
it's guided.
I don't
Yeah.
want him behind me. I don't
Yeah.
want to be in front of him.
Yeah.
I want him side by side so that
Yeah.
when he falls, I'm there to grab him.
That is
As
Yeah.
as much as I'm giving,
so blessed. Yo, like your mom is giving like this is the tea right here. Like
give a child a room to make mistakes.
yeah.
When they look back, they'll say, you know what? I messed up.
Yeah.
But what did you do with the mess?
Yeah.
How did you fix it?
Yeah.
Because if you don't get up very well, you're going to fall again.
Yeah.
So if you fall, when you get up, make sure you stand on your 2 feet,
Yeah.
not with your leg closed, a
Yeah.
little bit wider, so
Yeah.
that you're stronger.
Yeah.
You know, these
Yeah.
are the things we need to teach our
And like
kids.
it seems like you have like Fortune, you have someone who's holding you accountable as well. Again, I think the whole idea of walking beside, like your mom walking beside you.
Parents can only teach you what they know.
100%.
So she was raised, you have to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You have to be a doctor.
Doctor.
You have to be a social worker.
Yeah.
You have to be an accountant.
Yeah.
I
Everything
was-
else is failure.
I was raised different.
Yeah.
I was given opportunity for everything.
Yeah.
But along the way, the circumstances that I came across of
Yeah.
when my mom started to be a bit sick,
Yeah.
I realized, you know what? I can do whatever I want, but now I'm faced with this. I'm the last child.
Yeah.
My brother, my sister, they were in the boarding school.
Yeah.
And when you're faced with that, you're looking at like, okay, this is the reality. This person you're hanging on might go. You need to have plan B. So I had to change
Yeah.
and listen to what she said.
Yeah.
Education. You can do whatever you want to do later.
Yeah.
But I'm
But
living
again, it was
I'm
survival.
living my dream in him.
Him. Yeah.
So I'm able to nurture him.
Mm.
When you are on this environment as a migrant,
Mm.
to allow your child to leave the college and you go and pay for private college where it's really, really expensive to do the acting, to do music. You look at what you're paying. I haven't seen the money that I've paid for him in
Yeah.
college,
But it's coming. It's
but
coming.
I don't
yeah.
expect him to
Yeah.
give me the money.
Yeah.
I want to see him nourish that.
Yeah.
I want to see him live the life he
He
wants.
wants, yeah.
I want to see his talent going forward.
Yeah.
That's why till today, at his age, I'm still like, I'm here for you. Do you need me? Are you okay? What kind of support do you need? Is it moral? Is it financial? Is it what? I am here to cherish his talent and to help him move forward.
Yeah, I think that it's so brave, like just in general, again, for you to be able to like do that in Ireland.
Yeah, because it's very difficult when you're a migrant, when you move to Europe, everybody expects you to channel your child to be this, to be
This and
that, to be
that,
this. Like there are some parents today, I'm talking to you, when they see him, they're like, oh, that child that does music.
Exactly, yeah.
What is that?
What is that? Exactly. I
You
just
know.
think there's no respect for the arts at all. Like
They feel like maybe the money that I pay for private college for him to go and do what he does now, it's a waste.
yeah.
To me, it's not a waste. No, I'm nurturing his talent.
Yeah.
So as you nurture his talent, the results are not going to come instantly. It might take a while.
Yeah.
But all I know about him, his talent is raw.
Yeah. You're
It's
trusting
real.
the process for real.
I trust him.
Yeah.
He knows I have that trust in him.
Yeah.
That's why I say, okay, that's fine. We can do this.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. But just be smart enough to make the right decision, because now I gave you the platform to make your own decision. If you make mistake, it's okay.
Yeah.
We learn from the mistake. Make the mistake to grow.
Yeah. But keep pushing though.
Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I like, again, this sounds like, this conversation sounds like, I guess for someone like myself, sounds super privileged to like have like the opportunity to have that, you know, have someone like nourish you and really care about your passion, because it goes such a long way. Like I think it makes everything worthwhile, because if you know, like if this person might not believe you, like if your mom believes in you and like, because that's the person you're going home to, so she's the person that's gonna like put your head up and like
absolutely
like keep going.
There was it was that season when I was just pretty much deciding not to go back to college, or like having the conversation with my mom. I knew but I was already upset with myself and how my life was going at that point. I had turned down like some like fairly big opportunities for myself as an actor and a musician, trying to prioritize college, and college wasn't working out in that scenario. But I remember once I had that conversation with my mom, tension was really, really tight in the house, because I didn't come to her with any type of patience, any type of calamity. This is me at the height of frustration with college, really, really upset, in the hysterics of it all. And bless her heart, she was really, really kind to me at the time, and she understood, and she saw through everything that I was showing her at the time, and she saw like the vulnerability that was there at the moment. And I took her giving me the opportunity as like just the way you said it, like in my mind it was, this is the person that I'm going to be going home to anytime anything comes our way. This is one of the first people that I have to know. So I knew in my mind it was about time to start having things to bring home, like news to share. And it really all came from the debut headline, to be honest. I wanted to make sure that I was able to fill up a room, show my mom that people would come. And then with the second one, I feel, because the second one was the show my whole family came, and it was the first time everybody saw all of us out together. But the fact that that one was at such a level, I think I needed, in my mind, I was telling myself I needed to do something or have something of significance to give them peace of mind, at least until the next thing, until the next thing. Because while like being a musician is scary, because we are the examples that we look at. But I think it was a really important time for me to have that realization that even if somebody makes it all the way to America before myself, or somebody's paintings get picked up at the Louvre before yours or whatever, we're still very much the examples of, if you want this to be done, we are some type of proof that it can be done at all.
Exactly, yeah.
So that was the thing that was really keeping my foot on the gas at the time. And the same way I want to show it to the Ragers, anybody, it became really, really, really important to show it to her.
And I think also having your mom there, because I even remember seeing a picture of your mom. And I just, because like a lot of my friends are artists, but like we all do things and our parents aren't there because it's just, again, it's like, I don't know if it's a thing of lack of like thinking that they wouldn't understand it. Because even the type of music that you make as well, which is also like, because if I was to even make music, like my mom would want to, I guess, hear something that she's like, oh,
it's a thing in itself, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But
like, but I think the fact that you make the type of music that you make, which isn't traditional, do you know what I mean? It's very passionate, it's very like intense as well, and also the crowd that you have is like, no, we're gonna mosh pit, we're gonna like we're gonna jump, we're gonna like we're gonna move around, and like again, seeing our parents in those kind of situations as well, you just think like, oh, this is not gonna work, but like you guys do it so well, again, as because you walk alongside him all the time. So it's
I am in each and every show we does.
I'm like,
your mom as well, because I bring your mom as well. Your mom, I'll be like, listen, he's performing, let's go.
Yes, do you know?
And then we went to your civic
screening,
center. So I was like to your mom, you know what, Fortune is doing a little movie, let's go. That was the first one. And then the recent one, the second one, I said, I'm coming to pick you. She said, where are we going? I said, we're going to Tala. There's something I want you to see. So
I love, like, because one of my favorite memories, because again, I haven't actually encountered you guys in like super, like for long periods, but every like encounter I've had with you guys has been so intense and like memorable. But like I remember my first memory of you, and I was so happy that my mom had you as a friend as well, because I like you were different to like kind of any of her other friends. I remember this was her birthday. I just see you pull up in your Jeep with Prosecco in the car. Like literally the Prosecco was seat belted. Literally in the car. And she was like telling my mom, she's like, get out now. Like
I think as the kids that we are, especially with the mindsets that we have as artists and creatives, especially in the dynamics of African families, the way it all kind of is lined out in terms of like not the hierarchy, but your mom and dad, the know I'll be all, they are
all respect,
like,
all knowing.
Right,
it's like, because it's also this saying where like after God, you fear your parents.
Your parents, right.
Straight away.
And I think you weirdly enough get to a stage of adolescence where you see them in the same light, but it's nearly like something happens in your frontal lobe where you stop seeing just mom and dad and you see somebody who needs the girls' night. You see somebody who deserves a night out to come to these shows and everything. And I think when you have when I had that reminder that was also a responsibility in our relationship as a son, like, knowing I had to find like a boundary and a place where that could go as far as it does. But especially for the fact of the world that they grew up in and the stuff that they had accessibility to, it's like less than half of what we have.
Exactly. You know? I was like, even being an artist, like where is the night out for our parents? Like where is the artists that are coming for our parents? Like I think because part of Our Village Archive, this project is really solely based on that. I want to get as much information as I can, because we need to build better infrastructure for ourselves. Because I'm like, I see way too many moms who are depressed. I see way too many moms, like, because I remember being like, in my early 20s, my mom was like, take me to the club. I'm like, I'm not, like, do you know what I mean? Like, my friends are not, like, it's too odd. Like, my friends are not going to behave the same. Like, they're going to be like, your mom is here. And I just always, I don't want you here neither, because I'm going to behave different. I know my mom. She's like, she loves like music. She wants to dance, but it's like outside of church. I think that's the only time I've actually got to see my mom in like praise and worship, you know, that kind of like we dress up in our traditional wear, or if it's someone's birthday, like it has to be something like that. There's no like Saturday, me, you and her, we're going to this bar or we're going to this places, because pubs, like we grew up in, if you walked into a pub, like people are looking at you like, even at this, even at me now, like I live in Chapel Lizard and there's a pub like right in front of me. And it's one of those, like, if I walk into it, everybody's still kind of like,
and Chapel Lizard is a bit of an old town.
It's an
as
old,
well.
you know, they kind of still look a bit like, oh, okay, interesting, because they're just not familiar with like seeing faces like ourselves.
But you see, it's in your mind.
As well,
do you think?
When you put that in your mind, anywhere I walk into,
I know I'm completely confident. Like it's not even like a thing that affects me, because again, I'm literally like the age that I am now. I've experienced Ireland way too much. Like,
It's
I'm
best and
honest
it's
to God,
worst,
like
yeah.
we grew up in spaces where like you could be the only black person in the room.
person.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't like, it became normal. And we also like code switch. Like, I have an African accent, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I can put on my Irish accent straight away. We code switch
If needs
like
be,
this.
yeah,
But the minute
yeah.
I step into like, hi mom, like, how are
Yeah,
you? Like,
yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
Yoruba babe, I'm Nigerian babe. So like that code switching happens so quick. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I can understand that. And
Yeah.
I also think, again, you said something about us bearing the responsibility of also taking our parents and like bringing them to spaces like this, because it's so important. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, really important. Like, my mom walks past. So like, I remember my, me being in the Driocht Center. So I had my residency in the Driocht. And I just remember, like, we've lived in Blanchardstown for like 15, like 16
That's why I texted you as soon as I saw it, because I said,
like,
you're instantly like, we grew up here and you're in the memorabilia forever.
And then like, I remember that was my first time my mom stepping into the Driocht Center, and I was like, we passed the Driocht Center like every single day for
every
like
day,
15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Like,
And there was always things there.
there was always things there.
At everything.
You know what I mean? And it was just like,
amazing.
our access to it wasn't there, their access to it wasn't there. And then also us thinking that, okay, now maybe if there's a show on, will my mom like find it interesting or not? But it's still like, we need to do the active thing and bring
them
our
there.
families out. And not only that, we also need
Absolutely.
to start curating.
I was about to say,
things. We
if the
need
events
to-
if the events don't strike interest, we need to put on the events to
no.
strike interest.
Yeah, I think as this generation looking at our parents, I feel like we have a massive responsibility that we need to carry as well.
Yeah.
In making sure that integration between ourselves, I don't want that distance to be far. Like, I love, like, this is a beautiful example of how like it should be, I think. But like, for a lot of people, that distance it's far.
It's a very
different world.
I think integration, it's still a big thing within our community.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they still see themselves different and they withdrawn from a lot of things.
Yeah.
But if they were putting themselves to be involved within the community, I can tell you, things will be very, very different.
Yeah.
What I know now, it's really, really helped shape
you.
me. It shaped me in many ways.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I have a question for you both. So in terms of you, because the understanding that you have is really beautiful, but it's also unique. And I feel like it should be something that a lot of people should have a similar mindset to like integrating. But if you were given the opportunity to like create something in Ireland for anybody, if it's younger, if it's people your age or whatever it is, if you were given unlimited funds, like you have all access to money, access to any building, what do you think is something that, and I also want this thing to benefit you as well. I don't want it to be a thing that you're creating, because again, you're someone that serves the people, which is beautiful. But like, is there anything that you feel like you need that could be created that benefits you and also the people around you?
Yeah, I think it will be more so creating something for the youth.
Okay, yeah.
I will say from the age of 12.
Okay.
Because once you grab the kids from that age, you shape them, you come with them. When they hit that 18, they have their own identity.
Yeah.
So between that 12 to, let me say, to 17, they are trying to find who they are.
Yeah.
And that's where they really get lost in many times. So if you help them to find their identity, to find who they are between that age, and when they hit that 18, you're like, okay, you're now 18. Now we have this project for you.
Okay.
We want you to volunteer to work with the other kids that are this age.
Yeah.
As much as you're going to college, this is something small we can be giving you.
Yeah.
So you're already instilling that in them. I'm not going to go and change somebody who's 20 years.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's going to be hard because they've already found who they are.
Yeah.
They are lost. To bring them back.
Yeah.
You can bring them back, but it will
It takes
take
a
you
lot
a
more
while.
work. Yeah.
But if you get them from that age 12,
Yeah.
you walk with them.
Yeah.
You instill the
All
good
those
in
things.
them.
Yeah.
You work with their parents. Our community has the facility that, can shape them.
Yeah.
That will be really good.
Okay, so this is sounding like some sort of community center. Okay,
That's
if
where I
anybody
am.
wants
That's
to
where I
sponsor a
am.
community center, where are all the cameras? I'm looking at all of you. Like,
man.
if you want to sponsor
man,
a community center that supports young children between the age of 12 and 8, we will take your money and we will
We
have
will
you use
take
it for
your
good.
money.
We
We will
promise.
take the
You know,
money.
yeah. So I
I,
think that's
I do
that's
think,
really exciting.
you know, that age group, they have a lot of potential in them.
Yeah,
And if you have the funding
yeah.
to help them, there is kids that they can do swimming. Where are they?
Literally, yeah.
But because they don't have the opportunity to be
to do
given,
that, yeah.
you know, to go and do that, their parents don't have money. You have the money, you're like, okay, we have six kids that can do swimming. Okay, we have 6 kids that can run. Okay, we have 6 kids that want to go and do music.
Yeah.
We have 6 kids that want to do the Irish dance.
Yeah. But I think this is so, but I think like the fact that these things are being said, because it's like all of us feel it, but like it's about saying it as well, but it also takes the action of doing it.
The conversation,
and like that's what I'm holding on to this because I'm going to come back to you with this. Like I'm going to look for that funding. I'm going to like, because that's literally what I'm so passionate about. So it's like I want to find where we can get those facilities, find where we can get access. And if it's a group of 6 people that we start off with, if it's a group of 4 people, that it's like the money is there to facilitate them doing something. Because again, I don't even feel like people are going to places like Feroga anymore or going to, I don't even know. Like,
but I do think I couldn't tell you how I found out about Foreigner. It was probably a friend.
Yeah, that brought you there or something.
It's words of mouth.
Yeah, it was definitely word of mouth.
But
for me as
after the
well.
COVID, we have lost each other.
100%.
So the key now is to go and find each other. Where is everyone? Okay, we are here.
Yeah.
How do we bring back everybody back to the community? These days, people hardly stop and say good morning.
Yeah.
Hardly.
And you know what? It's like being raised in Ireland. Like, it doesn't matter where you're going. Like, it's the smile, it's the nod. It's like,
it makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
I remember you could be standing in Spar and like someone is behind you and you're paying and you're like, yeah, brilliant. And you're chatting away. There was just constant interaction. Whereas now, like, people are just like head down and they're trying to get to, it's like talking to people, a lot of social anxiety, a lot of like, because even for myself as well, I noticed that I started kind of withdrawing away from a lot of things mentally, not realizing it, like just not wanting to go out. Like, it was just like, I just didn't want to go out, or I would tell myself, oh yeah, no, I'm going out. And then it comes to the time and I'm just like, I'm just not feeling, I think I was like walking into a room and having like, it just felt like it was so much energy to interact. But no, I love, like, we definitely are going to come back to this again. I definitely want to be able to work with you and work with you guys both to be able to find, if it's facilitating 5 people, then we definitely can do that. And then I'm going to ask you a question, but I want to also come back to you as well on what you said. But when it comes to yourself, obviously being a musician in Ireland, being an activist, being someone that is also kind of like, community is huge, and owning, like, you know, owning your community is something that you do extremely well. Like, you feel like it, from just looking at it, you're so dedicated to the people that serve you and you serve.
Right.
If there was one thing that you could do, if you had all the money, you had all the access, like what thing would you do as, I don't know if it's an activist, if it's infrastructure for music, like what, like just think about unlimited, like billions. We have billions right now.
I've thought of I've been messing with the idea in my mind recently of like some type of festival to do with the new rage and everything it encompasses, where because I think there's an aspect of me that loves Forega, that loves the community I found, that loves the idea of being one of those people who Forega was to me, or the volunteers in Forega. I know there's going to be a full circle moment where I'm going to do that for another child. That's already written in my story at some point. But I know the more I multiply my resources and the network that I have, it really comes down to, at some stage down the line, I would love to have it where I have a daytime festival and a nighttime festival, where for the daytime I have my friends who are writers, I have my friends who are poets, my friends who are performers come out in the daytime, where the children will come out, the singers, performers, like heights of imagination.
Sort of like alternative festival.
Right. Yeah. I want like food stands of our culture, of every culture under the sun.
Yeah.
Diversity and inclusion.
Right. Yeah. And then come turn the nighttime, I want that to be a world where the other aspect of our lives that we pretty much found ourselves really seeing any type of success in, like our nightlife as a black and Irish community is fantastic. You know, we put on amazing events, and that's not something that I would neglect either. Like I have so many, and I think that's where I would come into play as a musician, where I know if I was given the space and the infrastructure to bring together all the musicians who I know would put on fantastic sets if they were given an opportunity, I know I could do that. You know, so it's something I've been playing in my mind with recently, because I did something in South Dublin called the Red Rua Book Festival. I think I'm probably messing the name up, but it was that exactly. Like, I was playing a character from a play that I had done in South Dublin at the time, and just seeing the kids come and read all of these books and see performances that they had never ever seen. Yeah, I could understand if you made that available to 8-year-olds, to 10-year-olds, to 12-year-olds, and then to the 15-year-olds, and then to the 18, 19, 20-year-olds. If you make different types of versions of the fact for them, the bridges will be built so quickly. Like, the Project Art Center is amazing for it, you know? So all of these little things, like working with Emma, working here, the types of events I put on, and really doubling down on owning the community. All of those things are for the end goal at the end of the day, which is being able to put on something like that.
I'm going to turn back to the cameras again. If you have money, we want it. We can spend it. We know how to spend it good.
You get me?
Alternative festivals, food. It sounds delicious. Like, different people coming together, like
Tenfold.
loads of races being together is kumbaya. Barney's going to be there. Like, come on,
Barney's going to be
give us
there.
the money. Like, we will spend it good. Like, it's guaranteed we will spend it good.
I think
but yeah, I think having things like that are really, really important. Like the alternative kind of festival.
Yeah, that's our whole thing. Like, I think if you describe Fortune Igiebor, you ask who Mr. Rage's alternative and left field are the two words that I use the most.
Yeah.
And I think Dublin's a lot more alternative than they give themselves credit for.
100%, and it's changing so fast.
And this is what I was going to say. I think now more than ever is the perfect time for minds like ours to have this conversation, because at the same time as being in Dublin City and its alternative, that's one side of Dublin, where there's the other side where you live in Chapelizod and you still deal with X amount of stairs, X amount of confusion, Y amount of inability to coincide. And I want whatever I do to help Dublin and Ireland get through this transitional period, because that's what it is right now. You know, it's a really long, dragged out transitional period. I think 2019 we were on the start and we're making amazing progress. And then obviously, like Ma said, lockdown happened and we felt a big disconnect in the world. But I think there's a lot of people who are willing to accept it, people who are willing to push it, and then there are some people who aren't for it. And it's really just about like showing people we aren't the enemies of the country the way we're being made out to seem.
Yeah, exactly. I think the betrayal of...
And just building that trust for each other more time.
Yeah. But I think that the media in general has such a massive impact on everything, because majority of the people that you encounter, like, and obviously I'm not... My personal experience of Ireland, like secondary school, apart from like students, of course you have people who bully or say words, but like,
of course,
I had amazing support system in school.
Yeah.
Like I went to Luttrell Sound. I
wanted to go to Luttrellstown really bad.
Such a great support system in school. Like I can't, like, all my teachers in school were super supportive. Like obviously, like all the encounters that we have, I think like obviously the media right now is just portraying such a negative side of whiteness, such a negative side of blackness, or whatever it is. Like I think the media is just showing the worst parts of ourselves.
Of everybody,
Whereas like it's not, do you know what I mean? It's like there's so much more that's happening. There's so many people who are for each other.
Absolutely.
There's so many people for integration. There's so many people who want change. There's so many people who understand that Ireland is changing. There's so many people who want Ireland to change. There's people who are ordering spice bags and chicken tikka masalas and like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, even when the riots happened, like I was just like, after all of that, you went home, you ordered a chicken tikka masala.
I know.
You literally ordered a spice bag. You're getting curry for Christmas. It's like, the integration has happened already.
Yeah,
it's like, you know what I mean?
It's a level of acceptance that hasn't gone through yet.
I think we're in it's a lack of understanding the culture itself. That okay, the whole world is changing at a faster rate.
Yeah.
Where we are, People are integrating, people are migrating everywhere. So what we can do for each other is to look after each other and try and work hand in hand to build a nation that we want. Because most of the people that are even coming to this country, they are not coming here to sit down.
They're
I've
been
here
and like
24
there are
years,
population that are growing the financial state of Ireland.
been here 24 years, been working, have house, have everything. Everything I wanted, I have
You
it.
worked for it
because
too.
I'm working.
You
know, and if you want to help somebody work too, you're like, okay, the government has crash scheme that are free. So you can start something for yourself. You can start work as part-time. Then you move on. You know, there is youth clubs there. So while you're in work, your kids can come back to school and go to youth club. They are safe. That's where I'm saying, you know, when you get the kids from that 12, because they start to have the key to come back home. But the parents, because are not there to see them, what is happening to them, so they can come home, do whatever they need to do, then to the youth club.
I guess it's a trust in the system,
By the time the parents finish work, the kids are finishing the club, they are going home. So it's kind of like, you know, bringing the community together. What are we doing for these kids? Here we are complaining that kids are out of hand. But what are we doing for them?
It's like
what are we creating for these kids? Is it all about building houses each and every corner? No. There's no point of that when kids are out of hand because there's no facilities for them.
At all.
The crime rate is quite high. And because we are people from a different background, we get rubbed on. That, oh, it's you guys.
It's us,
Is it really? You can't point finger at anybody. It goes both ways. So we need to work with the communities to build a community that we want, that will function very
well. And it's like a community that, because again, like what community should be like, we look out for each other, and I like regardless of your neighbors, like because even now, like people don't know their neighbors, people don't know, like
they don't greet,
they don't like, do you know what I mean? There's this coldness that like community feels a lot more colder. But you're right, like we need to warm it up again. We need to have better infrastructure and like likes of building community centers, like you've said, and you will build and you will be part of, because we have loads of people who will give us money, right?
They're locked in. They're signing checks
exactly.
while they're
signing
watching
contracts and da, da, da. We have someone here, by the way, if you need a community center run. But it's one of those things, like these things will happen, and like I think we're also at a place, I love that we can all understand that Ireland has changed already, and like it's just about the acceptance of change now. And then my final question to you guys is for yourself, again, I know you've given the example of like if you got something to do, you'd build something like that, but this is something for yourself. Is there anything that you would want to see in Ireland that allows you to, again, if it's a Friday after work or a Saturday that you feel like I can get up and I can go to this and like curate this for me, like tell me what that's going to look like. I don't want it to be like, oh, I just go to a local pub. But like tell me like what does that like, because obviously when you go back home, you know the sounds that you hear, you know the type of food that comes across the table, you know these things. Like what is it that you miss from home and what is it that you'd love to be able to replicate here?
I think I miss the outing with my age group, that connection, because we are all working parents. I think in the way of raising you guys, we have lost ourselves. We don't know who we are anymore. It's all about going to work, come back, work. Oh, ma, what's for dinner? You know, so our mindset is like, okay, I have to provide for the family. Now, it's not all about you, because right now you guys, you are about to leave the nest. I can tell you 85% I'm alone in the house, and I start to look around, then I'll pick up your phone, call your ma. We'll be on the phone for hours. But that hour we're on the phone, we could have gone somewhere to have meal. So another thing that I would love to see is to create space
for people.
For what are we? Are we Gen X?
I just like, what? Do you know? I've lost count. Like, guys, just like
I'm Gen X.
We are Gen Z.
I'm Gen X.
No, we're the Gen Z.
Yeah,
Mom, you're Gen Z.
You're millennium, I think.
No, I'm not millennium.
Gen Z, innit?
Yeah.
And then you were millennium.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, Mom is Gen Z.
Mom's Gen Z.
I'm Gen Z. I
He
am
We'll
saved
Gen.
take
you with
it.
that
Y'all
still.
at home, put it in the comment section. This is Mom Gen Z.
Yeah, say Mom Z,
she's
Gen Z in the
We are
comments.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
The Gen
Gen Z in the
Z.
Yeah.
chat. Gen Z in
That's
the
where
chat.
they need a place for themselves. Look, it's Friday. Let's rock it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
You know.
Prosecco
Yes.
literally in the seatbelt. Let's
You
go.
don't even think
Second
twice.
in the seatbelt. Yeah.
I think we need to make it a culture that, okay, you know what? The kids have grown.
Yeah.
As much as you work, as much as I have all the bills on my shoulder,
Yeah.
but I need to live a little. Life is too short to
It
be too
is.
tight.
Yeah, it is. And again, I'm going to put this out there to anybody who's watching. It's like,
You know.
if you're in events, if you do anything like that, if you work in community, please reach out. We would love to like be able to sit down and start curating nights that are suitable for you. Like hearing the sounds that you want, having the food that you want, like having, do you know what I mean? We need to start bringing artists from South Africa here. We need to start like, do you know what I mean? Like all of these things need to happen. Like it happens all the time. So if you're a promoter, please reach out. Shout us straight away.
Shout us.
Literally, my email, contact, everything. Just send me a message, please. It is so vital that we work in hand to create spaces for people who are within those age groups to be able to have a good time, because
the time is now
like
for it.
it's our responsibility to do that. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's about time, our age groups start to kind of network
Yes.
and help each other to build businesses that they want
Yeah.
and to learn from others.
Yeah.
It's so important to learn
You
from
know, maybe we
others.
can start with networking events and
Networking
just
events would be
networking
good,
events
yeah.
would be good
Yeah.
of a certain age, food, music,
You can
all of
invite
this.
speakers as well.
Speaker. Are you offering?
She is.
She's
I'm
like,
just
you can invite
saying.
She is.
speakers as
I'm,
well.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
So
no,
look
no,
at
I'm
it.
saying, do you know what I mean? Like she's like, I can talk, I can do it. Do you know what I mean?
And also, this is an important part, actually, now that you ask that kind of question. We have men around that they literally have nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
They are going through
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
It
Men's
doesn't
mental
matter
health, for
who you
sure.
are, color, or
Yeah.
which background. We have a lot of men that are struggling
Yeah.
in their own family,
Yeah.
and they have nowhere to run to.
Yeah.
They have no cave where they can go and hide.
Yeah.
And if something that can be created
For men in general, yeah.
for men in general,
Yeah.
I think that will be outstanding.
Yeah. I think that's really, really important. Again, I think obviously with female and women, we tend to we pick up the phone, we call
There
each
is
other.
Women's Day for men.
But men are not. Do you know what? See, the Women's and Men's Day. Women are great at celebrating. Like on Women's Day, we do be celebrating ourselves. You know what I mean?
When we see
Men
men,
are so
we're not
bad at
gonna
celebrating
celebrate.
each
We're
other.
not
Like,
gonna
come up to your
celebrate.
brother and tell
We're
him,
not gonna
yo,
celebrate.
you're an amazing dad. Like, I really appreciate you as a friend. But it's like,
I
come
think
on,
we've
guys.
recently like again, like I think I'm insanely lucky with the people that I have in my life, because it starts with my mom, my sister, and my father. But something that I've been telling myself in terms of gauging my friendships in it. It's like it starts with the family you're born into, and then it becomes about the family you choose, especially when you're outside and you're becoming your own person. And
because you say that, this is what I'm going to say. When a parents give birth to a child, the child look like mom and dad, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
But the minute they turn 18,
They just start.
the reflection they have is the decision they've made for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think we are forgetting that.
Sorry, I want that quote on a shirt. Anybody who makes shirts? That is good.
I'm
That
just
is a good
saying,
one. I love that
when
one.
we give birth to you, you look like mom and dad.
Yeah.
But along the way, as you make your own decision, because as parents, we give the case to make decision.
Yeah.
But that reflection will show on you.
I have a very, very specific group of friends, which are lads, and we've created this dynamic between ourselves where we understand very, very easily like the trials and tribulations of being a man and being a Black and Irish man in this community in this day and age. And there is such we're completely different to a lot of the friend groups I see, because we greet each other with so much kindness.
Yeah.
Before a lot in any way, before there is even an inkling that somebody's upset we always try to leave as much room possible. So if it's as little as a 5-minute argument with my mom, or it's as big as the loss of somebody altogether in life, you know that there are people there to go to. But this is something that we've had to we had to unlearn one thing in our minds and learn another thing in our minds. And I think there are a lot of things that
it's the
throw
same
us
for you
hardships
guys
towards our
really,
way. But having that dynamic has been like, it's changed everything. I couldn't imagine being where I am without them. Like, even if there was a world I was able to do it, I wouldn't choose it that way. You know, even if it meant there
your
was
support circle,
you know,
is everything.
everything.
It's actually everything. And I feel like a lot of people don't do the things that they want to do because of lack of support. You know, like they're afraid to stand up for themselves because lack of support. Like, so I think, again, building that community for men and both women. And again, if there's a guy out there who is great at hosting community talks for men, reach out. It is very much needed. It is very, very important
There
to
is
have.
lack of support for men.
The lack of support for men is huge.
You know, it's shocking.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we'll be complaining that kids don't have their dad. What is happening? But, you know, there's a root of the problem.
Day, but
Yeah.
There's a root for
that's a
that.
conversation for another day. But no, I very much agree. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for being so vulnerable as well and being so honest, because I think it is so important that we are having these conversations and we're being really honest with ourselves, because, like, again, we've been able to put out so many open calls because we've been able, even with sitting down here, we've identified at least 4 things that we could all do to make a change. Like, literally, and that's between like this is an hour conversation, and we've been able to establish that, like, there's things that we can do that really can make a change. So I want to say thank you guys so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Like,
thanks for having us.
Really, really appreciate it. Like, you guys also look amazing. I know your mom was saying that afterwards you guys are going out for like a little day out, I think you're saying.
I don't know if are you up for it?
Well, the other one with the
you
schedule.
Should. Like, with all the jams that she just dropped today.
It's it'll sound like I don't want to do it, but she's just booked and busy 7 days out of the week, 365. So I take the time when I can.
No, I'm so inspired by you guys. Like, I genuinely,
vice versa, Toby,
I'm
really.
like seeing this relationship, it's making me also want to work on my relationship with my mom more and be like, okay, I need to really actively make her involved in the things that I'm doing. And just, again, the dynamic, the trust that you guys have each other as well. You don't need to say it, it's there. You can see it. And then also for you, like, I just thank you for just being such a supportive mom. Do you know what I mean? Because it is such an example, like, because I hope the people who are watching this as well can see how, like, important it is to support your child and, like, do the things, like, go that extra mile, because, and also, like, also having a parent that doesn't expect anything back from that as well, but just your well-being.
Yeah. It changes everything.
I would not be afraid to make mistakes if I had that mindset.
Oh no, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
It's the only reason there's any amount of fearlessness or rawness to me. Is because she's like, okay, lead, but she's like, lead with that 9 times out of 10. You know.
I think that message, like, will have a massive impact. So
in the world,
guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. Of course.
You guys are amazing.